Hey, it's your pal Mike Shea from Sly Flourish, here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy DM Prep. This is a weekly show shot 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times on Twitch, in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. Today is a very special show in which we are going to prepare for the Session 0 of my Rime of the Frostmaiden game. This is going to be an exciting show today. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. If you want to help support Sly Flourish, you can do so by going to patreon.com/slyflourish and signing up. Patrons get access to a bunch of exclusive stuff, but mostly they are able to help keep shows like this going, pay for the equipment and bandwidth and all the other expenses that I have for keeping all the Sly Flourish stuff alive. If you are a patron of Sly Flourish, thank you very much for backing the show. So yes, we are going to talk about Rime of the Frostmaiden. This is the first episode of I don't know how many episodes. We're going to dive deep into Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, the currently latest D&D hardback adventure. I am running it for two groups. I'm running it for my Wednesday group and my Sunday group. My Wednesday group is actually about 3 weeks ahead. So I've already done a session 0 with them. We've actually had a couple of sessions. So I'm already kind of up to speed on what's going on and what's going to happen, which is really good. It'll help with the show. It'll help you guys because I have experiences with it now that I can share. At the same time, preparing for a brand new group to go through it. So to start us off with, let's talk about what a session 0 generally is about. I think it's very handy to kind of go back to the basics on a session 0. So actually, the Tasha's, we'll look at it. We'll start with my book, because it's my book. Chapter 17 on page 52 of Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master talks all about running a session 0. And we have a few things that we want to do when we run a session 0. You can find a whole thing. We'll skip right down to the checklist. So you want to use the session to help get your players on board, building their characters together around the theme of the campaign. The real value of a session 0 is that everybody's on the same page about what campaign you're going to run, what kind of characters are going to be the most fun in that campaign, you kind of making sure that the boundaries of the campaign are well established and well set, sort of getting the players excited about the campaign that they're running, and making sure that they're sort of swimming in the soup of the campaign that you've got. So we help players build characters relevant to the campaign and steer the campaign towards the backgrounds and the motivations of the characters, right? Big back and forth there. We describe the general themes of the campaign. You'll see how we do this for Rime of the Frostmaiden, with an idea of 6 truths. What are the bullet item things that make this campaign different than all of the other campaigns that people have played? Manage the expectations. Make sure everybody's on the same page about what kind of content they can expect, what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with. We're going to talk all about safety tools. Figure out how to tie the characters together to a single faction, right? I really like the idea of group patrons. They are something that you can find in both Eberron. We did it for Eberron, but you can also now see it in Tasha's. So we're going to talk about doing that for Rime of the Frostmaiden as well. And guide, making sure that you're giving the players a clear guide towards the types of characters that are going to work well together for this campaign. And then run a little quick scenario, right? A little something to just get people warmed up and ready to go. So this is all described in detail in chapter 17 of running session 0 of Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. So I recommend taking a look. There's also other YouTube videos where you can we can talk about, you can see us talk about it. And I have a bunch of session 0 videos for a bunch of campaigns that I run. Let's take a look at what Tasha's has to say on the topic. So we're going to go to D&D Beyond and we're going to load up sources, source books, Tasha's Cauldron, because for the first time, I think Wizards has specifically described running a session 0. So I don't know what page it's on because I'm looking at D&D Beyond. So a lot of the same thing, character and party creation, people come together, they build their characters together. We've talked about that. Party formation, they have origin stories, like what brought them together. They have a little thing here about running it for one player. And then they have their thing about social contract, and they talk about hard and soft limits here too. We'll talk about that when we talk about safety tools for our Rime of the Frostmaiden session 0. And what other, how to customize the game, what house rules you run, and then they go right into Sidekick. So a lot of the same stuff. It starts, He's Not Your Problem says it starts on page 139. So if you get Tasha's page 139, that's where you can read about what Wizards of the Coast has to say about session 0s. I think mine's better, but whatever. Of course I would. So session 0s I think are critical when you're running a good campaign. They're a fun thing to do. They're an enjoyable time. They're very relaxed. I love doing them. So we're going to do them today. And I've warned my players ahead of time that we're going to do it. They know we're going to do it. They know what the steps are, what we're going to do. And we're going to go through it. So I have already set up a Rime of the Frostmaiden campaign notebook. And I will copy this link and I will share it with our fine friends on Twitch. And you can find the link to this campaign notebook in the show notes below, with all the links to all of these various things. So I have a whole session 0 part of this here, and it's got a bunch of different things in it. So here's my checklist that I plan to go through today. Again, I've gone through it with my other groups. I'm pretty sure that it works well. This is built around Rime of the Frostmaiden. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to give out the campaign one-pager, and we're going to talk about it. And you'll see the one-pager. We'll go over it with you guys too. We're going to have them choose a group patron. The group patrons are listed on the one-page handout, so we can decide which one of 4 different people are sort of the central people that are tying everybody together. The players will build the characters. A lot of interaction, a lot of talk. Ideally, building connections between characters, that would be great. But mostly, we don't want all fighters or we're all Goliath barbarians, right? You mix it up a little bit. Everybody will pick a trinket. We have a list of trinkets. I think this goes to this is the Icewind Dale trinket page. Everybody can kind of get a fun trinket. That'll be cool. Choosing an optional Icewind Dale background. So if they want to pick a background, I'm gonna share this list with them, that if they pick one of these backgrounds, it will tie into Rime of the Frostmaiden a little bit better. So I'll probably hand this page out so people can read it. Then choosing character secrets. Here's one that I figured out. I'm not a fan of the secrets that are in Rime of the Frostmaiden. I think that in some cases they are too particular. So one thing is, if you want to run the secrets that are in Rime, give them the secrets before they build their characters, right? Give them the secrets before they build their characters, and then they might build their character around the secret. That might actually be a good thing to do anyway. So we might put secrets up front before we get to building a character, because they can inform how the character is built. That's something I didn't do with my Wednesday group, and I probably would have been better off doing that. So let's take a look at the secrets. I have a bunch of tricks for the secrets too. So I came up with 20 instead of I forget how many are actually in Rime of the Frostmaiden, but there aren't 20. And mine are higher level. They're higher. They're less specific, so that they can fit with different races. If you want different races or ancestries, you don't have to be like, oh, it only works if you're a human. So I have a list of these 20 secrets. Again, you can see it in the campaign notebook if you want to read through them yourself. I'm not going to read through them all here. Things like you're secretly raised by Yetis. You're an outcast for having documented a forbidden text. That's put an A in there. It could be dark magic or a tell-all book. You escaped. You are an escaped and hunted prisoner, right? So these are all secrets that they can choose from. The key to doing secrets is you do not show the players the list of secrets. You don't want them knowing what the other secrets are. You only want them knowing their secret. And what you do is, for each person, you say you roll a die, and then you give them a secret, and you say they have veto privileges, so they can say, I don't like that secret, it's weird, or that's not really what I want to do. And you say, okay, roll again, and you roll again. But you only give them their secrets. They don't know what the other secrets are. They only know either the one that they chose or ones that they've passed on, but they won't know the whole list. And that way they don't know what the secrets of the other players are. If they all saw the secret list, then, if they went through and read them all, they're going to know, oh, I wonder who of us was raised by Yetis, right? Maybe it was one of us, right? And they might be right, because there's 5 or 6 of you. So I think we're going to do secrets before character creation. And I think if you use the secrets that are in Rime of the Frostmaiden, you definitely want to give them before they build their character. But even my new list of secrets, where a lot of them are based on the secrets that are in Rime, I just extended them a little bit, and I made them a little less specific so that they could fit different, they didn't dominate your whole character. So then the players will build the characters, then they pick a secret, then they can choose an optional background, and then we have our first adventure. So somewhere in here, we're going to talk about, it really should be a separate item, is lines, veils, and what's the key phrase? Oh my God, I can't remember. Let's pause for a second. So we're going to talk about Lion's Veils, and let's pause for a second. This is these are the safety tools, right? And they are listed on the one pager, but it is worth extra time to talk about because, in my opinion, Rime of the Frostmaiden is a pretty harsh adventure with a lot of questionable material, and we want to make sure that our players are on board with the themes and concepts that are in this adventure before we throw it in front of them. And so we'll talk about that when I show the actual secret. So that is really the checklist. Those are all the things we're going to do today. That is probably a good solid 3 hours. Like character creation is going to be a big piece of that, but it's a relaxed session, so it's pretty straightforward. So now we'll talk about the one-page guide. This is, and I will paste this if you want your own copy. You can get it in the Notion chat, and it will be linked down below. This is the one-page guide that I put together for the players. So I try to get people into the theme. Night has fallen upon Icewind Dale. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it talks about the fact that the endless night has come. I'm making a few changes to the campaign because I think I like the theme better the way I'm doing it, and I'll get into that. But the sun hasn't risen for 2 years. It's been 2 years of night in Icewind Dale. The people of 10 Towns have been conducting sacrifices to Auril the Frostmaiden. The sacrifices have been different, but the people of 10 Towns have been engaged in this. The 2-year night has cut off the frozen north from the rest of the Sword Coast. This is a modification I'm making. I'm saying that basically within the first few months that the nights came, the ice and the glaciers have taken over the passes, and now no one is getting from the Sword Coast to Icewind Dale. Icewind Dale is cut off, right? And that's changing it because I think people are still able to travel in the adventure itself. But I think it's a lot more interesting when if isolation is a main theme of this adventure, then having them cut off from the outside is important. No one's going to come and save you. Ancient and powerful secrets lie under the ice. That's a big theme. Shadowy figures lurk in the mountains, hammering upon strange black metal, right? So those are the 5 themes of this adventure. Those are the secrets of Icewind Dale, the truths of Icewind Dale, the truths of the Frostmaiden, really. They probably could be a little bit better. I could certainly change the thing. Like I would say like the thing about the sacrifices is that they are being driven by the cult of Auril. That's another change I'm going to make. We'll talk about that. So the heroes we have is a big theme. And that to me is like the major, if we look at like how you want to build your characters around the campaign, the drive of this campaign is not to solve the endless night. That may happen, but that's not the goal. The goal is that the characters are brought together to help the people of 10 Towns survive the endless night. That's their goal, right? And they are people from here. They are trapped here like everyone else is trapped here, and no one else is coming. So the heroes are here to help the people of 10 Towns, their people, survive the endless night. You can see that when I talk about it, your character in your world. But that's the concept of the heroes we have. That cut off from the outside world, the people of 10 Towns rely on themselves. Thus, you, right? You are part of the people of 10 Towns who must rely on themselves in order to prepare, in order to survive the endless night. No heroes are coming from the Sword Coast to save the people of 10 Towns. Only you can save yourselves. So another thing is like the adventure as written lets you start in any of the 10 Towns. There's lots of arguments to be made about which of the 10 Towns to start in. My friends Teo Sabadia and Sean Merwin have theirs. Other people have theirs. Reddit has theirs. There's lots of different people who have preferred towns. I am going with the default for the adventure. If you read the adventure itself, in 10 Towns, it says, where do you want to start? And I'm trying to remember where it is exactly. I guess it's not here. It's probably in the running the adventure section. Adventure flow, which is pretty useless. Avalanches, who cares? Overland travel, mountainous travel, pronunciations, character creation, we got that. Character secrets. Where's the towns? Trying to find it. Running this chapter. Let's start at the beginning. Starting town. So choose one of the 10 towns as the starting point of the adventure. It doesn't matter which one, so pick your favorite. That bugs me because it's like, doesn't matter. There's 10 of them. Like, help me out. But then it does say, if you can't decide or don't want to leave it to chance, choose Bryn Shander. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose Bryn Shander. And that's what I did. And I've done it for my other group, and that works fine. Now I know Bryn Shander. I'm happy with it. It's a fine place to start. So I'm beginning the campaign in Bryn Shander in 10 towns, and I say like here's the whole town, and here are the Black Iron Blade Smithy, House of the Morning Lord, and the Northlook Inn and Tavern are really the main locations. So there's a few different places. There actually is another a couple of other locations that will sort of come out over time as they explore it. He's Not Your Problem says, my party is not too happy about the sacrifices they make to the outside, to be outside of any towns when the new moon arrives. Yeah, they don't like the fact, right? I think it's really harsh that the towns are just sacrificing. They're either sacrificing heat or food or people. I actually think there's other things they can sacrifice, like good mead could sacrifice mead. But one of the things I kind of am playing with, and I got this from the Castlevania TV show, the second season or third season of Castlevania TV show. I think it was the third season, which is like the Cult of Oral has a grip on 10 towns. That's something that should be sort of in the truths. If I have a chance to change this, I might change it up, which is that the sacrifices are being conducted by the Cult of Oral in 10 towns, that all of the towns have members of the Cult of Oral in there, and that the Cult of Oral has swayed the people to conduct these sacrifices. And what makes that interesting is like the characters might be like, I hate the Cult of Oral and I want to go and kill them. It's like, yeah, but they've got the people on their side. They've managed to convince the people that sacrifices to Oral are required for their survival. And the speakers of 10 towns don't like it, but they can't fight it, right? And that makes an interesting political imbalance. So, there should be more of a written. There's so many shoulds in this adventure, but we have what we have. But that's what I'm doing is I've got the Cult of Oral is going to be a major player, and there's a lot of fun. And their headquarters is there's another ruined dwarven tower in the center of Bryn Shander that I think will have sunken and hidden chambers that go into the Underdark right in the middle of Bryn Shander. I think it'll be really cool. So I forget what the name of the tower is. It's actually in Storm King's Thunder. If we go to, let's go to Bryn Shander. Storm King's Thunder. That's Rime the Frostmaiden. Storm King's Thunder. So Storm King's Thunder actually has a lot of other information about Bryn Shander than Rime does. So you can actually use the two together. Where did it go? Bryn Shander, Cairn Road, calling. So see chapter 2 for more information on this. So Bryn Shander, there's a location in Bryn Shander. Yeah, so this one has a lot of other locations. If you look at this map, the map has a lot of other locations to Bryn Shander. So if you want more about Bryn Shander, Storm King's Thunder turns out to have quite a bit. So if you happen to have that adventure, it's a good place to look it up. And they have a place called the House of the Triad, which is a dwarven temple built of stone by the dwarves of Kelvin's Cairn. And I'm putting it that the Triad is no longer in there. But they are now. It was sort of a ruin over the past few years, and the Cult of Oral has taken it over. And there are secret tunnels and secret chambers beneath it where they're conducting other kinds of nasty things. So I think that could be a lot of fun, and it's another cool. It's like an adventure location in the middle of the city of Bryn Shander. I think that is going to be fun. So we're going to do that. Going back, so we have the beginning. We're going to begin in Bryn Shander. Then we have a section on the characters in your world. We're starting at level 1. Player's Handbook, Xanathar's Guide, and Tasha's are all allowed. And from an origin perspective, Player's Handbook races they can choose are all the Player's Handbook races plus Goliath and Furbolg. I don't want a bunch of weird stuff. So can I play a Kenku? Maybe if you really need it. But like I don't want to open it up and like, hey, we've got 3 Githyanki and we've got, Aarakocra. Just stick to the Player's Handbook and Goliath and Furbolg. So we'll see. But I didn't want to open up the races to a ton of stuff. And we're allowing that you can customize your origin feature in Tasha's attributes. I don't know if I mentioned it in here. I should. Attributes will be either point buy or the standard array. That's what I always do. I should put that in here. I barely have room. But I don't need it because my group is going to do it that way anyway. But if you wanted to, it would not hurt to be point buy or standard array in here. But I'll mention it. Tritons everywhere. No, I don't need Tritons. Your group patron. So I wanted to use a group patron. I like the idea of a group patron. And I wanted to offer 4. And they have sort of different alignments. So the 4 are Valin Harple, who is a member of the Arcane Brotherhood, came here to discover what's going on underneath the ice, wants to build up a good reputation with the people of 10 Towns to help her because she knows that another ally of the Arcane Brotherhood tried and failed. And she knows that the Arcane Brotherhood are not well liked here in Icewind Dale. She is probably of the true neutral, I would say. Not quite evil, not fully lawful, but probably true neutral. Sheriff Markham Southwell is definitely your lawful good. He is the sheriff of Bryn Shander. He works directly for the speaker, and he really wants this town. He wants to help Bryn Shander, but he also wants to help 10 Towns. And while he's got his own guard that are helping to keep track of Bryn Shander, he wants to bring the characters on board as sort of, sheriffs of Bryn Shander or deputies of Bryn Shander that can go around to all of the other towns and operate there as an ally of Bryn Shander. Hiln Trollbane, so he's of the lawful good. Hiln Trollbane is probably your probably chaotic good or I think probably chaotic good. He's a retired shield dwarf bounty hunter, came to Icewind Dale escaping a dark past, and now has taken upon herself to bring justice. So she feels like the speakers are letting the cult of Oral run rampant over this place. People are getting killed. People are dying. The place is getting, but it's up to us to save it. And I want to work with you guys to help do it. So Hiln is very much of a neutral good, probably. Let's all help the town. And then we have Danica Greysteel. Danica is a scholar who has come here. She's sort of a druid scholar, and she's really interested in the ecology of what's going on in Icewind Dale, right? She's very curious about magic has changed here. Something has changed here. And I want to know, I'm very curious about the Endless Night. And I'm really curious about what has been changing. Lots of things are going on, and these people need help, and we want to be able to help them. So her motivation's a little harder on the why do you want to help everybody? But mostly it's because helping people helps understand what's going on here. So it's a little bit like Verlaine Harple. She's also probably of the chaotic good array, right? Of chaotic good alignment. So I'm offering up all four, and all I ask is that the players choose one of them, and they can vote together. Try not to hang on to any one of them too tightly in case the rest of the group goes against it. But generally speaking, and we'll kind of put up a poll. I think I have a poll tool I might put in, and people can vote for which one they want. And then we come to safety tools, and safety tools are, in my opinion, more important for this adventure. They're probably pretty important they're important overall. You should always have them. You should always consider them. I think, but this adventure in particular has a lot of themes that can be disturbing to people. And so I have lines and veils. I'm using lines and veils, and then I have my own kind of version of the X card, which is pause for a second. And so I say clearly, here's what we're not going to have. It's not going to have physical violence towards children, unwanted sexual contact, animal abuse or cruelty, party-initiated torture, inter-party violence, or inter-party betrayal, right? Those are out. Veils, cannibalism, mental assault, ritual sacrifice, kidnapping, consensual sex, enemy-initiated torture, or parasitic invasion are veiled off screen. Those things may be in here, and you might learn about them. It's not going to be right in front of you. And then, so those are kind of the lines and veils that I'm setting, but these aren't set in stone. So any other content that the players want to bring up and say, I'd also not like to have this, or I want to take one of the veils and move them to a line, we can do that. That's part of the discussion. These are not set in stone. And then mention that the game is a PG-13. We're going to run it like PG-13. It's really kind of maybe, it's PG-13, but boy, I think it could get to R pretty quick. So maybe, I'm not sure that's actually accurate. I think it's more like R because it's based on like The Thing, right? The Thing is R. Adventure features themes of darkness, extreme cold, murder, isolation, and paranoia. It's 80s PG-13. Yeah, I'm actually thinking that it's probably a little bit more R-rated because you got ghouls eating people and stuff. So those are the safety tools. So those are a couple things I need to change in the safety tools, I think, or in this whole page, right? One is I want to change the frozen truths of Icewind Dale. The other one is I want to play with the safety tools a little bit and change them up. And you can always change this guide as you go, right? And just tell people how you're changing it. Will the NPCs not chosen as patrons still exist in Bryn Shander? Yes, they will. So the other ones like Verlaine Harple will be there no matter what. Sheriff Markham will be there no matter what. It's just not their core patron. It's not, and really the core patron only matters for like the first few sessions, and then they meet enough people that the players will decide who they want to interact with, right? So it's really just the start where you kind of choose who your starting patron is. It doesn't matter that much. That's been my experience. So that is the Rime of the Frostmaiden guide. Again, I'll link it in case you guys want your own. You have that. And it's in the show notes below. So now what other things do we want to talk about? So what's the first adventure? The first adventure, I think, did I cover everything else? We talked about character secrets. We talked about optional backgrounds. I think we talked about the lines and veils. So I think we've covered all those topics. So then the starter adventure. So my starter adventure is going to be, and why don't we, let's create a session, right? Let's do a session note. Like we're actually doing some prep. What do you think? Generate session planning template. Click on it. I don't know who the characters are, so I can't figure out characters yet. That's one of the things I'm going to do. So there's no reviewing the characters because there isn't one yet. Strong start. The characters are heading to their group patron, to the troll. What's it called? What's the name of the Northlook, right? Heading to the Northlook Inn. I think I already have a page for that. Characters are heading to the Northlook Inn to meet with their group patron when they notice ghouls eating a corpse. Hence the rated R right off the bat. Scenes, ghouls, Northlook. Choose your next adventure. So I would really love for us to be able to get through all of this in the first session. I can probably run it in under an hour. So we'll see where we go. So yeah, the scenario is they're walking through Bryn Shander. It's cold. Everybody's bundled up. They're heading to the Northlook Inn to meet with their group patron. They're all together. They look and they see a couple of figures that aren't wearing any clothes or aren't wearing a lot of clothes that are sitting and chewing on something. They go over and they see that is in fact ghouls who are eating a person. The ghouls, they then fight the ghouls and attack. Probably one ghoul at 4 characters and 2 ghouls at 5 or 6 characters. Is about right. Ghouls are CR1. Are they that high? A ghoul is a pretty good challenge at level 1. So you don't want a lot of ghouls, that's for sure. They're paralyzing touch. They are CR1, mostly because of the paralysis. But they can only make 1 attack a round. They do 7 damage, which isn't going to kill a level 1 character. 2 hits will drop a level 1 character, but they can paralyze. So they have 22 hit points, but AC 12. So they're, they say it's a CR1. They're really about a CR half. They're actually a little weak for their CR. They actually make good level 1 villains. So, ghoul, hey, look, it's a ghoul eating an arm. So, sorry, Mom. Level 2. So they find a corpse. The corpse is lying on the ground. The corpse wasn't killed. So now we get our secrets and clues, right? And we're starting off. So what's that for? This is about the cold-hearted killer quest. We're starting off the cold-hearted killer quest right away. We want to get that in front. And the corpse wasn't killed by the ghouls. It has a slashed throat and an icy dagger tip lodged in its chest. So something else killed this person, not the ghouls. The ghouls just happen to be eating it afterwards. The victim and I made a let me check and see if I've got an NPC already for the person that was killed, because it's kind of important to, let's see, we want to have small, oh, I can't see anything. Oh no, what did I do? Cancel. So I don't think I have an NPC card. My NPC card sizes are too big, for the person who got killed. So I think we will. So the idea is the person that was killed. Let's just do a random one. We'll do a random NPC. Guys, elitist, neutral, good, human. So was Guys a noble of a noble's son, right? A noble's son who let's see. It's been so another secret and clue. It's been 1 day, right? Or maybe 2 days. It's been 2 days since the last new moon. And who was sacrificed? We want to have a person who's sacrificed. Lowell Bormos, right? We'll have a Bormos. And let's give him an interesting name. Sly Flourish name generator. I need a cool last name. Bormos Shadowblood, that's a little too much. Thorn Touch, Blue Boot, Thormos Gentle Whisker. That works. Bormos Gentle Whisker was chosen as the sacrifice. His body still is tied to the dead tree outside of Bryn Shander, frozen in place. Metal. Guy's father paid off brother X. I don't know what his name is. Guy's father paid off brother X to change the to take his son's tile out of the lottery. Right? So paid off a brother of the cult of Oral. Well, I always like to call them the children of Oral, because they don't call themselves a cult. They call themselves the children. We're the children of Oral. We're here to help. Guys' father paid off a brother of the children of Oral to take the son's tile out of the lottery. And then they were killed anyway. So those are the secrets. Are there any other secrets that have come here? So I think a related secret is, let's go back to our Frostmaiden. Let's see, I need to go here, and then I go down to my linky, and I click Frostmaiden on D&D Beyond. So the cold-hearted killer is part of Torgs, right? What is Torgs? A merchant company called Torgs, a roving merchant company. Did I not? Wow, I didn't name this thing yet. I should name it, right? So this is 14. There's our notes. Torg's Merchant Company had come through in the past couple of days, and now made their way to Goodmead. That's important because it turns out that the cold-hearted killer is actually part of Torg's Merchant Company. And so they can follow the murders by following the merchant company. I don't know how that's going to play out, but that's sort of a clue. What other, are there any other secrets? Some people have seen strange, small creatures, glowing creatures, lurking around 10 towns. Others report seeing boot prints forming by themselves in the snow. Other secrets. I don't know. I don't think so. I gotta sneeze. I bet sneezes look really weird when you don't hear it. Looks like someone's exploding. We don't need a lot of secrets for today because it's going to be like an hour-long show. So I think, or hour-long game. So I think that that's probably enough secrets for the timing. It's 7 secrets. We can come back. But really what we want to have, so we want to talk about, so they don't choose their next adventure. Instead, their next adventure is going to be, what's it called? Foaming mugs. That's really their beginning adventure. So we don't need quest choices this time. We'll talk about them today, but we're not really going to worry about that. So Foaming Mugs is the next quest. Fantastic locations. We have the Northlook Inn. I don't know if I have it yet. What was the name of the House of the Triad, right? So we're going to create a new page in our Frostmaiden database. Where did it go? What happened? Frostmaiden campaign database. All right. So House of the Triad is going to be another notable location. I don't think we have any other. So the Black Iron Blades, right, is one. And what was the other location that I put in the guide? In my session 0, in the guide, we had the Northlook Inn. The House of the Morning Lord is another location. In case they want a temple. There is also the town hall. Let's take a look in the council hall. No, so where does the town speaker live in Bryn Shander? The sheriff, right? There's a lot of good stuff about Bryn Shander. The speaker's palace. So that is a potential location that they may go to. And really what we want to do is we're going to link to SKT Bryn Shander locations. And we're going to link to that. I guess we'll just link to there because it's close enough. So now I can link to that and I can get the stuff from Storm King's Thunder, which has a fair bit more. So NPCs, I'm not really sure. So some of the NPCs are going to be, I guess, a couple that are important are Guys. We need another surname for Guys. Guy's Thorntouch. He's probably, it's from a Dirtbeard, Wiseboard. Guy's Grey Lion. Of the Grey Lion family. Adult son killed with icy blades. We have Father Lake. Father Lake is the head of the cult of Oral. We have we have Duvessa. We have Sheriff they're going to kind of come into play no matter what. But I think that's probably it. I'm trying to remember the name. Let me look at my old notes because I wrote it in my old notes. This is the notes that I had for my Wednesday game. So I guess they've had 4 sessions for the Wednesday game already. So we will go to, I guess this one. No, I'll go to the next one. Because I think I had more names in here that mattered. No, I'm trying to remember where they learn the names of. So Brother Styles. So Brother Styles is a one of the members of the speakers. He may come up later, but who is the brother that was killed? I guess we'll just make up a name. I thought I had one from my other session, and it'd be handy if I did, but I can't find it. So, brother, who was the false? Find a name. Brother Lowell, Brother Elliot. We'll go with Brother Elliot. Lowell's cool. False follower of Oral took money to pull out tiles from the lottery and gets killed. And of course, we have our main villain so far, which is Cephik. Monsters, ghouls, that's easy. Treasure, none. F you, none. You're only goddamned level 1. Quit being so greedy. I take that back though. The tip of the ice dagger might have a fun spell on it. What's a good cold spell? I need a fun, like, first level cold spell. Not a cantrip. You want something more powerful than a chill touch? Chill touch a cantrip, isn't it? Ice knife. Oh, ice knife, of course. Can cast once and then shatters. Perfect. So they do get a piece of treasure. All right. And then I'll have to edit my scratch pad to suit the new characters whenever we build those. So that is a strong set of notes. Again, 1 hour game. It's going to be real easy. With the noble's son. Yeah, I think like they probably will recognize him. Like they'll probably know, oh yeah, that's so-and-so, the noble's son, right? Like I don't think that'll be hard because like they're from here, right? Oh, would that be like a treasure? Probably. He probably has like, he probably has a bag of 17 GP on him. And we'll see. It's always a fun, like, are the characters going to rip him off or not? So yeah, so those are my notes. So one thing I want to talk about is and we'll talk about it in future episodes as well, but I thought I might as well talk about some of it here, which is how am I going to break the quest down? So Rime of the Frostmaiden essentially says, hey, start in whatever town you want. And there's 10 of them and they all have a quest. So choose any of those quests. Oh, but a bunch of those will get you killed at level 1. So, or level 2 even. So what I've tried to do is say, like, I really like the way quests are broken out in Dragon of Icespire Peak. So I went through and said, I'm going to group the quests up into chunks that match the way Dragon of Icespire Peak works. And we'll take a look at how I did that. So I have a section here called Quest Outline. And what I did is, so the starting quests are, right off the bat, you can pick up Cold-Hearted Killer, and you may be able to pick up Nature Spirits. I don't know if I'm going to do that it depends on who the patron is. But they can pick up those side quests right away. And that's like, hey, you found a dead body. There's a murder mystery. Let's find out who did the murder. But then you also say, yeah, but we want to help these dwarves with foaming mugs, right? So The starting quests, these are what I consider tier 0, right? Are you pick up Cold Hearted Killer as a long-standing mystery, and then you get Foaming Mugs, and you go do Foaming Mugs. And you might pick up Nature Spirits as another side quest. But you essentially have these one major quest and then a couple side quests. Foaming Mugs is a good quest for first-ish to second-ish level characters, depending on how you run it. We'll talk more about that next week when I run it. Then I took the next set of quests and I picked Lake Monster, Hold Up, and Mead Must Flow. And the idea is that all 3 quests will be available to characters. When the characters meet with their patron again, the patron will say, "Hey, which one of these? We've got some jobs that you could help in. Here are the 3 jobs. Pick which one you want." And the players say, "We want that one." So then they go and they do that job. They come back. They say, "Hey, we still have these other 2 jobs." They say, "We'll do that one." And you go, "Okay." And then they go and they do the 2 jobs. They get to 3rd level after they complete the second of those 3 jobs. 3rd job goes out the window. Then they come back and they have 3 new quests: White Moose, Mountain Climb, or A Beautiful Mind, right? 3 new hooks for those sets of quests. They do 2 of those, and then the 3rd one goes away, and that opens up tier 3. They do not level up after that set. They don't level up till the next set. Tier 3, Black Swords, Unseen, Toil and Trouble / Town Hall Capers are the next 3. So now at this point, they will have done 5 quests, right? Because they will have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 7, right? They will have done 7 quests total. So they reach 4th level after completing 7 of the 11 to 12-ish quests. The side quests don't count. They're really good quests and they should get leveling after them, but probably not. So, because what you don't want is burning out all these quests too quickly. So I like the idea that they will do essentially 1 quest, probably a side quest, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And after they've done 7 quests, they're 4th level. And then it opens up chapter 2. And we'll talk all about chapter 2 as we go. So my idea is essentially taking all the quests that are strewn about this whole book and breaking them into 3 quest tiers. And then the players choose which of the quests they want to accomplish. They do 2 of them. The 3rd one goes away, and then the next tier opens up. And I think you can run essentially all of chapter 1 and 2 that way, with recognition that there's also these side quests, these major quest arcs that sit on top of them. Cold Hearted Killer is a quest arc. Nature Spirits is a quest arc. But then certainly when you get into chapter 2, you have the Sunblight and Destruction's Light side quest, which is a big one. And then you have Oral's Abode, Caves of Hunger, and the Doom of Yethan, which are the major big pieces of the final part of the book. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to worry too much about how to integrate those until we get to chapter 2, which is going to be months from now. So I'm not too worried about how to figure that out. How to integrate the Sunblight / Destruction's Light quests, and then Oral's Abode, Caves of Hunger, and Doom of Yethan. I don't know how I'm going to wire those in. And we'll see as the game goes, right? But I know they're there. I know that they're going to come up. So I'm definitely going to bring those up. But mostly I'm going to start worrying about those once they get to chapter 2. Then I'll start paying more attention to it. In the meantime, I've got these quest tiers, which generally speaking looks like it's going to be 1 to 2 sessions per quest. So say 3 sessions for 2 quests. So that's... basically 2 sessions here, 5 sessions, 8 sessions, 11 sessions. So that's like 3 months out, right? So I got 3 months before I got to worry about getting to chapter 2. That's at least my plan now. Plans change. We'll see how things go. But that's where I'm going to go. So that's how I'm breaking out the quest outlines in this adventure. I like this structure better. I need more structure than it gives me. It's too much to say, here are 11 quests, just run them as is. And many of the quests are really long and hard. Some of these are not perfect, like Hold Up. I ran Hold Up for my Wednesday group, and it's too hard. Like they were 2nd level, and 2 winter wolves, right? So you change them to dire wolves and everything's okay. There's a bunch of things you can change and Hold Up. Someday I'll talk about changing to Hold Up. By the way, if you want advice on these quests, and I haven't given it yet, or you want advice besides, I highly recommend Bob World Builder's series on this. If you go to YouTube and we go to Bob World Builder, Bob World Builder has a whole bunch of videos. He's a great guy. So he's done 10 guides. Good Mead, Dugan's Hole, Seer Koenig, Seer Dinaval. He's got a whole series. I wonder if these are all on a playlist. You probably put them in a playlist. I don't see them. Yeah, he's got a whole Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden playlist, right? So if you are looking, and his videos are nice and short, and he's got the dulcet tones, he's got some ASMR going, so you'll feel all relaxed after you watch him. So if you want to watch those, I highly recommend them. I'm gonna paste those into mine too, because he's my go-to. I go and I watch his videos before I start running it, and that gives me ideas about what I need to watch out for. It doesn't mean I follow his advice all the time, but it definitely gives me a good view. So check out Bob World Builder's videos. What else? So let's just take a look at my notebook overall here. So I got a lot of, I guess one question is like, well, what about the fronts? Who are the fronts? So my first front, the Cult of Oral, is definitely going to be a big front. And I've already got so Sefik Kaltero actually he's an avatar. He's sort of directly connected to Oral. And he's the one cleaning up when the Cult of Oral doesn't do things right. So like if somebody managed to escape the lottery, he goes and murders him anyway, and then murders the guy who helped him escape. So he's a true child of Oral. Brother Styles is a crazy dude who loves around. He speaks for Sefik. He knows Sefik. So he's like, you remember, I don't know if you saw, I did an article on Sly Flourish about worldwide wrestling, about professional wrestling and D&D and how you can get a lot of boss stuff from your pro wrestling stuff. One of them is like having villains who have sidekicks who are constantly talking about how awesome they are. Brother Styles is the caller of Oral and the caller of Sefik. And he's going to go around being like, he with the cold eyes sees through you, right? And he just says creepy stuff. But he's always, and like people will get clues and they'll learn about villains through the mouth of Brother Styles. Father Lake is the head of the Cult of Oral in Bryn Shander, probably the head of the Cult of Oral all around. We have Herna Blackiron from Black Iron Blades. We have the Arcane Brotherhood. We have Valish Gant. These are all the villains. I kind of put them all in here. Ravison the Frost Druid is an interesting one. She's the one going around awakening all of the animals in the area. And I'm trying to figure out like how to make that kind of a cool thing. We have Danica Greysteel, Sheriff Markham, Speaker Duvessa Shane. Zardarok Sunblade is, of course, a villain. Oral is a villain. Hiln Trollbane is one of the potential patrons. And then I have other members of the Arcane Brotherhood. Nas Latimir, Villain Harpal, Dazan, and Avarice are all members of the... You kind of want to wire them in because the whole, like, the Arcane Brotherhood of the Gunslingers of Icewind Dale, I really want to use that. So I think that could be a lot of fun. So those are kind of all the NPCs I have right now. You can see that I've already been working on this. Hey, look, I don't need this. I don't need my own descriptor. What else? So got the quest outline. Session 0 is going to be fine. Yeah. So I think we're all set. So that's our prep for session 0. Next week, we will talk about, how the session 0 went. We'll learn about our characters. Like, I don't know who the characters are, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we will prepare for our first major quest. I do feel, I can say, like, do I feel ready? Yeah, I feel ready because I already ran this for other group and it went really well. I can say already that even though there are definitely parts of Rime of the Frostmaiden that I'm not happy about, like the way the quests are broken out, the idea of like, here's 12 quests, you figure it out. It took some work to like put those into groups, but not a lot. And now that I have it in the groups, I feel pretty confident about where the adventure is going to go. So like, I feel like I've got the next 3 months set. Like I'm good, right? And it won't be hard for me to prep because I got the material. It's got room for me to kind of add my own stuff, like the Cult of Oral, which I think will be a lot of fun. I have a whole other thing with if they go to, I don't know, my other group went to Dugan's Hole, and there's like these weird ancient standing stones to some creature called Thrune, which I created as an Elder Evil, that there's actually a frozen Elder Evil out there. All kinds of fun things you can sort of add into the campaign as you go, which is really how this goes, right? Take the campaign, use it as a framework, wrangle it into one that fits the way you want to run it, and add the things that you want to add. And you'll see me doing that over probably the rest of this year. So I hope you're enjoying these shows because you're going to see a year of them. So I think we're all set. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I hope you found this useful. I hope kind of digging into what a session 0 looks like and hearing about my plans for Rime of the Frostmaiden. I hope that was fun. Thank you all for coming on Twitch. Thank you all for watching on YouTube and listening to the podcast. And we will be on again next week and learn all about our characters and start our campaign. So thank you all. Have a great week and get out there and play some D&D.